Ladies and gentlemen, we had some news that broke about 2 days ago. Sorry I haven't been able to get to it. Had a pretty busy weekend, but here I am reviewing what is going to be in the next patch, the 12.10 League of Legends patch. And it seems the creators have come together and have had a realization that there's way too much damage, way too much nuking, you know, too many one shots, two shots. I personally play Vagar, and I'm gonna be very real. There's times where I feel really bad that all I have to do is hit 3 kills to get an a guaranteed kill. There's ways to counter it, but oh my gosh, it's kind of overwhelming. It feels good, but man, being on the other end of that is you know, kind of depleting. So here we are, Riot to increase health, armor, and magic resist for every champion in League Patch 12.10 durability update. This will also include nerfs to sustain and buffs to Baron, turrets, and mana regeneration. Are you kidding me? Are you nerfs to sustain? So what is that? What's that gonna be? You get some vampiric items, lifesteal items, and buffs to Baron, turrets, and mana regeneration. So it's gonna be harder to take turrets and Baron. Oof. I can definitely see games going for a lot longer because of that, quite honestly. That's very interesting. Here we go. As stated, this is by Dot Esports, Tyler Esguerra. Give him all the credit for all his resources, but I'm just relaying the information, and it states, for League of Legends upcoming patch 12.10, Riot Games has revealed a new durability update that will be bolstering the survivability of every champion. So it's a good time to be a tank. It's a good time to be a tank player for sure. I think they're gonna nerf my Warwick though. That's kind of scary. I just started playing ranked, so let's see. Across the board, the developers are trying to reduce the overall amount of damage in the game by increasing base health, health per level, armor per level, and magic resist per level. Now that's crazy. Like I said, it's going to be a great time to be a tank if all of those are increased. But I guess maybe even the squishies will not feel so squishy. Sometimes I play a champion and I feel like I can't even get into the battle because I feel like I'll be one-shotted, So maybe that will be. Oh, here we go. It actually says lower survivability leads to game states where squishy carries and supports in particular struggle to have an impact in the game due to being one-shot with low counterplay in too many situations. I agree with that. I do. When you're dying so fast that it's difficult to tell what killed you, game clarity takes a hit, which leads to frustrating experiences. I agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Let's talk Akali. Am I right? Am I right? The devs explain that in combat, some champions might only need to use part of their kit to grab a kill, which leads to less satisfying player experience. That's true. Some people don't even need to use their whole kit to get an experience, but sometimes it's just the way they're built, in terms of damage per second, like ADCs and stuff. Lower survivability creates confusing team fights that are shorter and harder to follow, while also preventing players from being able to use their own skills to outplay an opponent. True, it's over before you know it. You didn't even get to demonstrate your skills simply because you were too squishy. Maybe one more hit. Well, if you survived one more hit, you'd be able to show out. Uh, with this increase in durability, players should feel like they are dealing and taking less damage than before. People playing burst champions must either commit more resources and use their entire kit by passing their core skill test to instantly kill someone. They can also be way more ahead in gold or levels to pop a player because they've passed their core skill test many times. So they're basically saying, hey, if you main burst champions, there's still a way. You'll just have to commit more resources. But basically, they're saying get good. if you play burst champions, get good. Otherwise, there will be bigger windows for outplays and team fights should last longer as well. That's actually going to be very interesting. you know um, Multiple systems will be affected as a result of changes too. Sustain, for example, is getting hit with nerfs, while Baron and turrets will be doing more damage to offset the increased champion's resistance. So as they stated up here, team fights should last longer, but if you think about compiling that with team fights around Baron, oh my god, team fights could last for like actual minutes if you really think about it. Riot will be monitoring all the possible side effects of the changes and continue to adjust as needed. I like the adjust as needed. I like that part. because well, I remember when they put in the Chemtech Dragon, they adjusted the heck out of that right out of the game. They adjusted it right out of the game. We don't want to move to meta where tanks become unkillable, burst champions are rendered obsolete, or where pro play becomes a snooze fest. So we'll be monitoring role and champion balance extra carefully over the next few weeks. That's actually really cool. Those were all my complaints, actually. You know, but we'll see. Our goal is to hit a sweet spot where all classes are viable, tactical combat has good pacing, allowing for moments of skill expression, and the balance of snowballing and scaling are in healthy states. So if you're a pro player already, this is probably good news, you know. And if you're starting off as well, it's probably good news as well. You won't get burst damage down, you know. Everybody else in between, we might have to work a little harder, you know, to get those kills now. But hey, who knows? Maybe because we're alive longer, we'll be able to buy more items. We'll see how they decide to balance it out. But overall, I agree with this next patch. We'll see what happens. My biggest worry is the sustain. They're getting rid of sustain, or they're nerfing sustain, and I don't know what that means. I wish they went into more about that. Is that going to affect a lot of junglers? But we'll see. Patch 12.8 and the durability update are both set to release Wednesday, May 25th. So we have about like 3 weeks from now, a little bit less than 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with the rumors of the next patch and what they're doing with damage. And hopefully that'll allow more new players to find the game more appealing. But we'll see. We'll see. But that's been my review. We'll see what happens when the patch actually comes out. Maybe after this next jungle champion, whenever they decide to release Velbeth. But until next time, this is Forjon. Stay up.